Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Living in
That is such a valuable piece of advice there.
These are the sorts of things that we should talk about right in the first 5 minutes of the podcast.
Started giving people free clothes.
In sunshine and rainbows, it is
Definitely a thing for just being a solo
The
operator.
change in mindset makes a massive difference.
Welcome to Aussie Lawn Stars.
Welcome to the dungeon. Today we've got Sam Ashby, and Sam is a mate from the Central Coast. How you doing, Sam?
Good, mate. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been a bit of one of those days, running around from here to there and everywhere.
Ah, lovely. Lovely, lovely.
But that's all fun and games when it involves motorbikes. Can't complain about that bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. I have a new bike and I've been enjoying it. So it's an adventure bike and it's a truckload of fun.
Well, it's good. It's good. But dirt bikes, a little bit better.
Yeah, well, horses for courses. You're a couple of years younger than me by the looks of it.
Yeah, no, I am 28.
Yeah. So my enduro bike's up for sale if you want it.
No, I just sold all my bikes. I keep hurting myself. If anyone wants a old quad bike, I'll have one for sale next week. So,
Well, you might need to tone it down a little bit and get an adventure bike like me then.
oh, maybe they look like good fun, but no more bikes for me. I have too many injuries.
You'll appreciate this. Nobody else listening will, but on Sunday I went from Currumbong up across the Wadigans out to Laguna.
Oh yeah, you go to Great North Trading Post.
Yeah. Had a drink and a cake at the Great Northern, and then turned around and come back through Murray's Run.
Yep. And
then from Murray's Run across the other side down to St Albans for a drink.
Oh wow, that's a big ride.
And then from St Albans back to home again. So all the way back up, back through the letter A, back across the Wadigans, back to Currumbong. So just over 200k.
Yeah, geez, that's big. That's big.
I started at 7 in the morning and I was home at 12:30.
Oh, you made some good time.
Well, this is why you need an adventure bike, Sam.
That's true. That's true. No, we grew up in the well, not grew up, but did a lot of riding at letter A, like a lot when I was younger. It was good fun, but yeah, too many injuries now, so preventing me from day-to-day life. So had to give them up and sell them all.
Now that you're getting old.
Oh, I feel older than I am, but yeah, but that's all right.
Well, I reckon I've got a few more grey hairs than you, but it's all good.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah. So, Sam, people are listening, they will have tuned out because of the motorbike talk, but they want to know about what you do for work. And we need to ask, given that you just finished school, did you start in our industry straight out of school?
Yeah. So I was, I made it to about April when I was in year 10, which was 2013. And then I applied for a bunch of jobs and I got a offer from Cornerstone Landscaping on the Central Coast and went there and could choose between landscaping and horticulture. And I did like the 2-week trial and I thought lugging bricks around wasn't quite for me. So I went and joined the horticulture team and pretty much been doing it ever since. So nearly 12 years now. I've just been full-time horticulture with about maybe a 9-month break in between where I did some farm work out in the Nullarbor and chasing sheep.
Nice.
And then, came back and worked for them again for 9 months or so and then started up my own thing and subcontracting to a few other landscapers and then got enough work to branch out on my own.
So, first rabbit hole to dive down, you mentioned that you ended up fairly quickly in horticulture. Did you do an apprenticeship or a traineeship in that?
Yeah, so did the 4-year apprenticeship and did all the TAFE or the schooling at Ride TAFE, which is like a horticultural
Okay.
college, they called it. But it's,
Yep.
just your TAFE course. So,
So it'd be similar to going up to Tocal and doing agriculture.
yeah, maybe, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was
Well,
just your normal TAFE course. So we did parks and
yeah.
gardens, and then,
Oh, yeah.
so instead of horticulture, I did that. But it's pretty much the same thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that knocked over in 4 years, and then you became qualified as not as a horticulturist even, but in parks and gardens.
Yeah, essentially,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of the guys that I interview will come into our industry without qualifications. I've been trying to target more and more that are qualified, and that means often they are either, like you, parks and gardens, horticulture, or landscaping. One of those three are fairly common. There's a couple of interviews I've done recently with guys that are in landscaping, and they either focus on landscape maintenance or they do a mixture of maintenance and construction and design. But so you found your niche fairly quickly in the horticultural space rather than the construction. You said you didn't really like lugging bricks around.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've done a bit of construction, and like I don't mind it. But
Yeah,
yeah, just when I first started, it was kind of the option between the two, and leant towards it, and kind of fell in love with it really, and never really wanted another job. So
fair
yeah,
enough. Yeah, okay. So you fell in love with looking after plants maintenance.
yeah. Like it took a bit of time to love it. But yeah, after about I always enjoyed it, but
Yeah,
after about a year or two of learning, like once I kind of got the grasp of what we were doing and starting to learn a lot more about it, that's when I started to really enjoy it.
yep, fair enough. So with maintenance, coming from your end, and sorry if I'm struggling here to get this right, but I'm just trying to get my head around this. Compared to guys that come in without any skills, you would have been getting a broad spectrum of jobs. So not like the guys without skills who will start mostly mowing. Some of them might not, but most of them will start predominantly doing lawn mowing, cutting grass, making long grass short. You would have been doing a lot of gardening, a lot of hedge trimming, a lot of hand weeding, anything else along those lines that you could
Yeah,
throw in.
so with the Cornerstone, with who I worked with, they didn't do a whole lot of lawns. Like we always we'll mow lawns where we work in gardens, or like
Yeah,
there wasn't too many like dedicated mowing runs as such.
yep,
So a lot of it was in the gardens and doing learning a lot of selective pruning and things like that, like pruning big wisterias over arbors, pruning
yeah,
roses. And we got to work on some pretty incredible places with Cornerstone. Like they were pretty good to me. They had a couple of really good older horticulturalists there that knew their stuff, and they were
yeah,
quite willing to pass that information on. And yeah, being out we worked in a lot of wedding venues and things like that, so they had to be right or not perfect. Like no garden's perfect, but getting it close
yep,
to perfect as you can. So
yeah,
it wasn't really about the money, it was more like the time spent to get it right, to get it to look
yep,
good. So we're never really under too much pressure to shoot through and just get to the next job kind of thing. It was take your time, learn it, get
yeah,
it right,
yep.
and then kind of move on, I suppose.
Now, you said Cornerstone was the company. Were they predominantly working Central Coast?
Yeah. So they did a little bit of work in Sydney,
Yep.
but they don't anymore.
Yeah, okay.
I do a lot of that work that they used to do. But yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
they're big, like they do design, construct, and maintenance. But I'd say most of their stuff is maintenance. But they do some cool landscapes as well.
Yeah. So I guess one of the things that is worth touching on with this, and we'll get more into it when we talk about your business, but there's a tension between what you learnt with Cornerstone and what somebody without skills will come into the industry doing. So somebody comes in focused on lawn mowing, they will get asked to do some hedge trimming. They'll get asked to do some gardening. But from their perspective, and probably it's the quality of customers that they're chasing, they're predominantly focused on lawn mowing and they see gardening as low-paying work. When it comes to your end of the market, the jobs you're doing, like you say, wedding venues and high-end gardens, the gardens are where the value is and where the time is spent. So like you said, like it's not a got to get in, got to get out. It's no, we're here to make it right and then leave.
Yeah.
And so I think the other aspect of that is high-end work like that doesn't always attract higher dollar per hour, but it will have things like you're saying where it's like, okay, let's make sure we're here until it looks great rather than just mediocre. So my saying, like making long grass short, is what a lot of us do. It's just a case of going, all right, well, we might even be able to charge really good dollars for it, but ultimately all we're doing is just making sure the grass looks short.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we do some ride on lawn mowing stuff now, which is essentially what you're saying, making long grass short, and they do pay quite well. Like traditionally, I think a lot of the guys who have kind of just gone through gardens, I don't know why it is. We seem to, like, we all make decent money, but I find a lot of us kind of come into it with the passion or the love of horticulture.
Yeah.
And for my case, that's the case where I've come into it with the horticultural knowledge, but not necessarily the business knowledge. And that can sometimes be a detriment, I suppose. But as long as I enjoy what I'm doing and the guys enjoy it, I'm not too fussed. As long as we're paying the bills and we're getting by, like that's the main thing. Obviously, no one wants to work for free, but as long as we enjoy what we're doing, that's the main thing, I think.
Yeah, and, we'll definitely get more into the weeds later in the interview because I think this is a topic which is divisive, and on forums like LMCA, you get that tension. Even like anywhere you talk to people that have got their knickers in a knot because they perceive that they are the better part of the market. They're doing it right.
Oh yeah,
they
absolutely.
will have something negative to say about people who are doing it different to them. So we'll come back and touch on that a lot more later because I think your insight running your own business as you've grown is probably where we need to start and get a really good idea of what that has looked like. So when you decided to go out on your own, I'm guessing you did that with your boss's blessing by the sound of it because you ended up doing a lot of the work that he didn't want.
Yeah, well, that kind of came a year or two after. I think he kind of wanted to see if I would survive the first year or two. And then after that, he gave me a ring, sorry. And I took on maybe 20 jobs he had down in the Seaforth Mossman area. Like I bought them off him, but that was well worth it for myself now. Like that's paid for itself tenfold. And now we've created a heap of really good relationships down there and got a heap more jobs down there as well. And just all seems to be going well at the moment.
Yeah, okay. So that got you started running your own business, and you would have had your old boss as a role model. So you would have been able to go, okay, he's running a truck or a trailer or whatever, and that proves really useful for the type of work that we're doing. So you would have bought similar equipment to him?
Yeah. It's actually like he had quite a vast array of things. Like uh, we had a van, so you could work out of the van. We also had flatbed trucks and a ute.
Yeah,
So I got to work out of like my 4.5 years there. I worked out of all three of them
yeah,
for mainly the trucks, but working out of a van and a ute and a truck, you kind of got to see what you liked or what you wanted to achieve to get, which
yeah,
obviously for me was the truck, but I couldn't afford a truck to start with, so I just started in my ute and
yeah.
went from there.
So, look, I think this is really interesting because a lot of people will have that debate. What's the best choice for their business? And for a lot of guys, it's going to be, okay, this is my family vehicle. So a ute or a van, if you can take passengers in it, means that you can utilize it for both work and family use. But when the business is the size that your boss's was, you go, well, let's have all three. Let's have the van, let's have the ute, let's have the flatbed truck, and they all serve a purpose. So if you're picky, you go, okay, well, what vehicle is going to do everything with one vehicle? I've got to start from somewhere. But if you are at the size where you can go, all right, I can have all three of those, then it gives you a lot of benefit if you can choose which one you take based on the type of work you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was good because like when we'd be down in Mossman when I was an apprentice, we used to take the van because there was a lot of like back streets and alleys and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
And then when we're doing the acreages, like we'd be in the truck or whatnot, or we're just doing like a residential mowing run, we might be in the ute. And but
Yeah.
like each, it kind of depend like what person you're working with because each person had their own vehicle and you'd kind of just swap between the supervisors back then. But it was
Yeah.
good because I kind of always knew that I wanted to work for myself. So I started kind of paying attention quite young at what kind of worked and what didn't. But like everything works,
Hmm.
it's just what works for yourself.
What works well for the type of customers and the type of locations. So these observations that you would have made from working for your old boss, they're systems. And
Yeah.
I emphasize systems a lot because people need to have invested in systems that work well for themselves. So you've learnt from somebody else, you've gone, okay, I can see what works well for them. I'll try and implement something that's going to work well for me. But you obviously had a bias towards going, well, I really want a truck. That's so beneficial to have.
I think every
But can't
boy
afford
wants a
it
truck.
straight away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
get it when we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we ended up getting the truck by I was driving down to Sydney one day and I put my ute into the wall on the freeway, so that wasn't ideal. And
Yeah,
then
no.
I bought a Ford Transit little flatbed thing,
Yeah.
and that was terrible, but it was
I was
good
going to
for
say
the
that
time.
would be unreal.
It was old. It was a '98 model, and this was maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Like it was on its last legs,
Had 500,000
and
Ks on it.
yep, yep. But it got me by at the time. Like it was 4 grand, and I had it for about a
Hmm.
year and a half. So I was pumped with that.
So it was a
And
flatbed.
yeah, yeah.
They
And the
have a
very
low loading height, right?
um,
Not
I'd
necessarily.
say it'd be similar to like a rear wheel drive Hilux, something like that. Like it wasn't crazy low,
Okay.
but
Some of the transits with a flatbed they have a small wheel on the back so that they've got a really low deck.
oh yeah, this one was kind of standard. I would assume. I know the one you're talking about, but yeah, this one
Yeah.
was kind of standard. But
Yep.
yeah, so we put the ute into the wall on the freeway, and the next day that one broke down. So I just
Ouch.
went up. Well, it's time. We got to go bite the bullet, and we went and
Yeah.
ordered a truck that afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had that now for 4 years, and it's the best thing I've ever bought.
So
Like
you bought
it's
that in the middle of COVID.
yeah, so it took a while to get here, but yeah, that's all
Hmm.
right. And yeah, we're lucky because they couldn't get a manual transmission, so we got the free upgrade to the auto. So I was
Oh
very
yeah.
happy with that. makes it easy when
Yeah.
you're down in Sydney. So
Yeah, for sure. And the manual transmission on a truck, particularly a smallish truck like that, means that you're probably chasing gears all day.
yeah, absolutely.
Whereas some other trucks, if you got 18 gears to choose from, you're probably going to find the right gear. But in a small truck, it's a 5 or a 6-speed box, and the auto will smooth that out for you.
Yeah, sure does. And everyone can drive it. Like then you don't need to worry if someone can or can't drive a manual, and it's all car license. So
Yep.
anyone can just jump in and drive it, and just makes life easy for us. So that's good.
Yeah. So you've started building your business with equipment like that in mind. I'm guessing we might as well keep on talking about equipment. So the tools that you would have fitted it out with as well, do you have a particular favourite brand that you went with?
Yeah, well, I'm a Husqvarna man, always have been.
Won't hold it against you. I might have a couple of their tools myself.
Yeah, so I think I started off with just like a 525 combi machine, and I had a whippersnipper, a pole chainsaw, and a hedger.
Yeah.
And I had that I bought that when I was a second year apprentice, so I could start doing like little cash jobs here and there. And then when I went out on my own, I had that for another 2, 3, maybe 2 years. And then I
Yeah.
went to battery, and then
No.
I think I own every tool Husqvarna sell except the Scarifier and a couple of push mowers. But other
I
than
have a
that,
Scarifier if you need to borrow it.
yeah, I think I've had every tool in their battery range. So they work
Yeah.
they work for me and they work for the guys. Like the guys like them. They've
Yeah.
tried a couple other ones and they just seem to like the Husqvarna more. So
Yep.
if they're happy, I'm happy. Everyone's happy. We'll just keep buying them, keep using them. They don't last super long, but if I can get a
Yeah.
good 12 months out of a machine, usually they pay for themselves and should be
Yeah.
pretty happy with that.
Yeah, with those sort of tools, you're sort of between $500 and $800 per tool. So if it lasts 12 months, it's not a massive expense to replace it. And you'll get between 12 months and 2 years, I think, with a lot of their battery tools, maybe longer with some of them.
Yeah, if it's just you or like just yourself using them, I'd get heaps longer. But when you've
Yeah.
got other people, grabbing them and, they didn't pay for them. So, they just use them and abuse them and put them back and pull them out the next day and don't check them. But that's fine.
Yes.
That's why we've got them. And
Yep.
I'm happy for that to happen. Like,
Mm.
because they're trying their best. And,
Yep.
you can't expect them to treat it like it's their own because it's not, I suppose.
So that's another thing we'll touch on as we work our way through what you do. You've got employees.
Yeah.
Yep. Are there any other tools you've got that are interesting that we should cover? I'm thinking lawnmowers, of course, but your main vehicle's your truck. You've got a ute as well.
Yeah, we've got a little, I bought a little Ford Ranger, just like a little rear-wheel drive thing, just a little boot-around car. So,
Yeah, I won't judge you too hard for buying a Ford instead of a Toyota, but anyway.
yeah, I had a Toyota. I had a Land Cruiser at one stage, but yeah, that was too expensive to keep, so I had to get rid of that one.
They are so expensive to buy.
Oh yeah, I bought it before COVID and then sold it for more than I bought it for after COVID. So I was very happy with myself. I put 100,000 Ks on it and made $5,000. I don't know how that happens, but
That is a common story. A Land Cruiser with 100,000 Ks on it is often worth more than what it was brand new.
yeah. Well, I didn't buy it new. I bought it with 280, and I think I sold it with 420 on it, and I sold it for $5,000 more than I bought it for. So
Wow.
I was, yeah, I just
That's
put it
interesting.
up, didn't think anything of it, and got a heap of offers, and I was like, oh, okay. No, but tools. So we have a Cub Cadet Pro Z 4S, I think, the sit-down all-wheel drive zero turns. That thing's great for us because we do like We don't do a heap of mowing, but where we do it's quite hilly. So
Yeah, so that one's a zero turn with steering wheel.
yeah, oh yeah, it's not all-wheel drive. Sorry, it's steering wheel on it.
Yep, which means that essentially, whereas a regular zero turn, the front wheels will just spin whichever direction and you'll end up facing downhill heading for the lake. The steering wheel one means that it's more like a car in terms of having traction and going the direction you point it.
Yeah, like it's not the quickest machine in the world, but it does a great job for us. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. Like I used to have a little Husqvarna ride on, and I can get this zero turn into so many other places I couldn't get the Husqvarna. So
Fair
I'm very
enough.
happy with it.
Efficiency is the thing that rules a business and the decisions you make as a small business owner. Right Mowers give you the options in their product lineup to match efficiency with size, fuel usage, and the type of jobs you want to target, from catching to mulching or side discharge, from roadside verges to acreages, and manicured lawns to 6 feet tall and super long. I've been using the Right Stander I 42-inch with a Catch Pro for manicured areas and the Stander ZK61 to maximise productivity for large open acreage mowing. If you need to replace your push mower, try the 32-inch Stander B. If you have more open access to residential properties, there's a 42 through 48-inch option that suits you. And if you want to enter the acreage market, the 52, 61 and 72-inch machines have choices in engine size and model type to suit the work you want it to do. Right Standards go the distance, saving you time and money, season after season.
We just bought a Vermeer tracked loader as well, like a little dingo thing.
Yeah.
Yet to use it because I bought it secondhand, but it's getting fixed. But yeah, so we've got that as well to aid us with some of our bigger jobs, like bigger mulching jobs and landscaping jobs, and hopefully maybe hire it out if we're not using it so it can help pay for itself. But I think that's going to be a good thing, but time will tell if that's going to be a worthwhile investment or not.
So in those particular type of machines, Vermeer is sort of the top of the market. In terms of their capacity, their hydraulic flow rates, those sorts of things. You've only got 2 or 3 that actually really high end in the market. You've got a lot of different machines in the market, but it's a tracked machine, whereas some of the lower end machines are wheels instead of tracks. And I'm guessing decent amount of horsepower, decent flow rate, so you could put something different on other than the... Have you got the 4-in-1 bucket or the standard?
Yeah, so I've got a 4-in-1 bucket and it came with a bunch of augers. So so then I'll get some pallet forks for it as well to shift around like some pallets and stuff at the yard and things like that. So...
And for the average person looking at buying a Vermeer like that, you'd want to have probably 100K in change, right?
We got ours secondhand.
Yes.
So I think ours was might have been 26,000 or 26 or 28,000. I can't quite remember, but
good price.
Yeah, if you were to buy them new, you're not getting much change out of 70 or 80 grand. So.
Yeah, well, I had a chat to Duncan Russell from International Mowers. He showed me the Skag Jackal.
Oh, yeah, I've seen them in person. They're impressive.
Similar sort of price, similar sort of machine. They're probably, like the Skag and the Vermeer are probably 2 of the machines that are sort of at the higher end in that particular market. But if you put the 4-in-1 bucket on it, that adds a little bit. And he had the flail head on it, so you could use it for doing steep slope mulching. And with the flail on it, I think it was pretty much spot on 100K.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So yeah, if you want to use one of those machines for doing slope mowing, they're great, but not cheap.
Yeah, I did see you can buy a slasher attachment for them. They're about $5,000 or something, so might be something to look at down the track if we ever get into that type of work, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's probably more for somebody that starts out with a focus on mowing, or they want to move into council roadside or railway side mowing, that sort of thing, is where a lot of those machines get used.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't really do any of that. So,
But that's a pretty cool piece of equipment. And did you say your majority reason for getting that was to spread mulch?
yeah, like mulch, topsoil. So we do, like, when we're kind of building gardens and things like that, instead of running in 30 or 40 ton of soil where we can, obviously if we have access, if we can use a loader, that'll help heaps.
Yep.
And then we've got a few jobs which are kind of 150 to 160 cubes of mulch, and we do them, like, we'll do a couple of them a year type of thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of mulch.
Yeah, so that kind of takes us 2 days, and we just have the property has a couple of ride-ons, so we just get a bunch of mower trailers, and we can get about a cube in a mower trailer. So we just load them up and run them out all day, and then just someone will come around and spread them as we go. And
Yep.
because if we hire a machine for that, like you hire the machine, you got to hire the trailer, you got to fill it up with fuel,
Yep.
and then pick it up, take it back, type of thing. They're about $550 a day if you were to get them from Kennards or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you can get a smaller machine, like a little dingo or something like that, for probably less. But they've got a lower weight capacity, smaller, slower.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of $550 a day is not uncommon. I half thought it might be more.
Yeah. So, well, that was for like a wheel loader Kanga. And
yep.
just by looking at the track loaders and seeing how much easier they are to maneuver, like just using one hand instead of trying to hold the bars and use the skid steer and then trying to use the bucket and stuff at the same time. Like, you can I've thrown myself off it a couple of times just from being a bit complacent, thinking, oh yeah, I've got this, and you go to touch the bucket and you touch the wrong one and it spins sideways and throws you off. So, but yeah, a little bit safer, maybe, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so that's a productivity win when it comes to those sorts of jobs, massive productivity improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. So that gives us fairly good insight into the types of equipment you're running. You have mentioned that you're running multiple people. So how many staff are you employing on average?
So at the moment, we've got 3.
Including yourself or plus you?
No, including myself. So it's me and 2 others at the moment. So we kind of vary between 3 and 4 people, just depending on if we have 4 people. Like, we get staff, they come and they go. But we have a couple of really good staff at the moment. Unfortunately, we're losing one of them. She's going off to start her own business, but she'll do well in that. So so she leaves the end of November, and then I think we're getting a sports turf management guy coming to do some work with us. So hopefully that works out. Yeah. And hopefully he can teach us a few things so we can get a bit better at the lawn side of things, and then we can teach him some stuff from the gardens as well. So hopefully that'll all work out. So
yes, I've met your 2 main staff members at the moment, but it's that would give you enough people to be able to take on a decent amount of work.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So I guess looking at the type of work you're doing, and you mentioned you're doing a fair bit in Sydney, but are you doing about 50% Sydney, 50% on Central Coast?
Yeah, I dare say it's a 50-50 split at the moment. I'd like to get that to about a 70-30 split and do a lot more on the coast, but I kind of find it hard to let go of the work in Sydney because I enjoy the property, I enjoy the people.
Yep.
The people are great, and if the people are good, like, it just makes it so much easier instead of the travel's a part of it, but yeah, the people are great, so it just helps, makes it all worth it, I suppose.
Certainly does. So with 3 of you working all the time and occasionally 4 people working when you've got to knock over more work, are you using a scheduling app or are you doing it all via your phone calendar and paper diary? Or how's it look?
I'm a bit old school. I've got a big paper calendar, which I know
Oh,
is
man.
not ideal, but
Let me introduce you to Sortscape.
yeah. I've looked into Sortscape. It's something I do need to do. Something I want to do, but
Yeah,
I'm not very tech savvy. So every time I've looked into it, I think I understand it, but I've just got
yeah,
to dive in and do it. I've done a bit of research on them. I think
yeah.
Sortscape will be the way to go for us. Sortscape, or there was another one as well that sounded all right. But
So there's 2 Australian options and then there's a bunch of overseas ones. Sortscape and ServiceMate are the main ones that are directly made for Australia. And I would say the easiest way to describe the difference, I've interviewed both companies, but
okay, yeah, cool.
the easiest way to describe the difference is that ServiceMate is more aimed at the trades industry where you have one-off jobs and there's a lot of attention towards leads and quotes, whereas Sortscape is more aimed at routine maintenance jobs where you're locking them in on a regular basis. And both can do both. So to be fair, when I say that they're more aimed that way, it doesn't mean they can't do the other sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, that way would be probably more leaning towards Sortscape then, I suppose, because all of our stuff's all reoccurring, really. So yeah, we hardly
Well,
ever do any one-offs.
Sortscape have got a fantastic deal available where when you sign up, you can get Kyla McDonald, their training person, to spend time helping you get it sorted out. So she will walk you through it and help you understand how to use it. So for somebody who's not tech savvy, it might sound like I'm trying to promote Sortscape here, and
Nah, I'm with you.
I do promote Sortscape, but I think
So
that'd be well worth your while. Well, it sounds of it.
I've actually done the training session with her. She
Yeah,
was very helpful, and just at the time we got super busy, we got smashed,
yeah,
and then I just didn't quite have all my ducks lined up and
yeah. Fair
didn't
enough.
didn't do it. But it is something that I think will just make everything easier. So I think it'll be the way to go.
So at the moment, you got this big calendar, an A1 size calendar.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a desk planner or
Yeah.
whatever they
Yep.
call it. It doesn't take long. Like I hear a lot of people talk and they go, "Oh, you spend a lot of time doing it," but it's not too bad. But obviously, if you can digitalize it and get everything like pre-messages sent off and stuff, that would be much better. But
Well,
it doesn't take too much time.
15 years ago, I was using iCalendar on my phone. So a spreadsheet to record everything I've done, and then iCalendar to record what I'm going to do.
Ah, yeah, right. Nice.
And that's a low tech system that is reasonably efficient. I guess the benefits of going to a CRM like Sortscape is that then once you finish a job, you just click complete, send the invoice, and move on, right? And if you got your employee there, they take a photo, proof that they've been there, done the work, click complete, you invoice them.
Ah, yeah. Well, I do use Zero, so we send all our invoicing through Zero, and I've been better with that, so I've started sending them off the phone. So,
Yeah, okay.
like we still need to write a list of what we've done.
Yep.
But yeah, we just kind of write the list, throw in the hours, and send it off. Like, because we might only work at, I think like the maximum amount of jobs we'll do in a day is four or five, and that's kind of for me. I think that's it's not necessarily a big day, but like it's a lot of driving for us. Like
Yeah.
usually we're kind of 1 to 2 jobs a day type of thing. Like we're either in
Yeah.
one place all day or one place 6 hours and maybe 3, 4 houses down for 2 hours or something like that. Like they're all
Yeah.
pretty condensed, but to
Yep.
send off 2 invoices at the end of the day, it's 5 minutes tops. So
Yeah, makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. But if I can systemize that and get that working a bit easier and be able to share calendars with the guys and stuff, that'll be even better, I suppose.
Well, yeah. I really sound like I'm promoting Sortscape here, but I think having any CRM, Jobber, Sortscape, ServiceMate, any of them is going to add these benefits. If you do this, then you can make notes in the system about what was done and what wasn't done while you were there. So you can look through your employees' work, look at the photos, see what notes they've made. So it automatically do the invoicing. It automatically reschedules for 2 weeks' time or 1 week time, whatever you want to schedule it for. All that sort of thing is automated, which means, yeah, you're only going to spend a couple of minutes sending an invoice or not even that. But you've also got that as a database of what you've done. If the customer says, hey, where are you? How come you didn't turn up? You can just flick them a copy of the photo and say, hey, Jane was here on this day. This is what she did. Looks like the job was done to me.
Yeah, that's true.
After inviting Sortscape in to share how their software can help your business, we created a link for you to be able to support Aussie Lawn Stars when you join. Sortscape will save you time and effort with scheduling, quoting and reporting so you can build a more efficient business. Visit sortscape.com/lawnstars now to join, and thank you for your support.
Other systems that you use, you said you're using Xero, and
Yeah.
for invoicing that's working really well. I'm guessing, and I know for me it makes it seamless to go back to the accountant and go, okay, I've got everything in there, do the BAS statement for me, let's talk about my end of year tax, all those sorts of things are fairly seamless when you've got it all in there already.
Yeah. I have a pretty close relationship with my accountants. Like they're really good.
That's good.
So they've got all the access to the Xero. Like I do all the reconciling and things like that. Like I still do all of that, but if I need any questions or anything, I can just give them a ring. They're always there. They always help you out. And then we do like a quarterly, I think it's a quarterly meeting or something, and they kind of just run through all the numbers and kind of give us some projections and how we could improve or what we can do on just mainly on the money side of things. And then they just give me a few suggestions, and then it's up to me on whether I act on that or not. And majority of the time I do. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's good to have an accountant that you can trust to give you advice on things. And if you get the advice retrospectively where they're doing your tax and they're like, oh, you didn't spend enough money, it's like, well, you could have told me that 6 months ago. And I think that's where it's good to have an accountant you have a tax planning meeting with as well. So you can go, okay, this is where you're up to. Here's your BAS statement. What's your plans between now and the end of the financial year? Let's look at how it's tracking, whether you have a bunch of money sitting in the account that you want to try and reduce your tax by going and buying a new Vermeer or whatever it might be.
they always tell me to stop spending money. Yeah, this is not working for you, mate. You're spending more than you got. But
And
that's all right.
if they understand the profit first principles, that's probably the way they'll head, is recommending that you are putting money aside to pay yourself rather than just buying tools.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've listened to the Profit First book. I haven't acted
book.
on it yet, but it is something that I am always looking to. Well, I always think about it, but I never do it. But it is something that I do want to start to do because, it seems like it would be a good system and it would work. In theory, it works. So if you stick to the plan, it should work.
Yeah, in theory, you're basically just taking out of every time you get paid, you're putting money aside to pay for the things that need to be paid for. So you're going to have, for every job you do, you're going to have to pay some fuel, some insurance, some wages, equipment maintenance, registration, all the different things that are part of just running a business.
Yeah.
So the profit first model says out of $100, we know there's going to be some expenses, and I just like using these numbers, just round figures. Like there's going to be about $30 worth of expenses that are generalised, and probably another $30 that is wages, and then hopefully there's $30 left over that's yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So if you then split those expenses up and you okay, let's put them into separate bank accounts. So we know wages $30. There you go. That's going into the wages bank account, and another $30 is going into the other expenses, or it might get split up into different types of expenses there as well. Then I think the key thing is the name of the book called Profit First, right? It's gonna it's gonna make sure you're paying yourself. But yeah, it means the idea is as you use it and you then adjust it based on the needs, you don't leave yourself short, and you don't get to the end of the financial year and go, oh no, I've got a big tax bill and I don't have the money to pay it, or I need to have spent some more money or whatever it is.
Yeah, I got myself a bit unstuck with that maybe 4 years ago. I've learnt a lot since then, but yeah, didn't allocate for a tax bill and spent a bunch of money, and then didn't have the money to pay it. So, but I've learnt from that now. So I'm always constantly putting stuff aside and making sure we're ready for when we do get those bigger bills.
Yeah, the tax office is not very forgiving when you go out and buy a Land Cruiser instead of paying your tax bill.
No, but I sold that Land Cruiser and paid the tax bill, so it was all good. So we're back.
Good. That's a good news story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Sam, what other systems have you learnt along the way that you go, yeah, this is just something that I do and don't even have to think about it?
Well, I think they're technically a system, but I wouldn't call it a system. So the guys will kind of like rock up here in the morning, and usually I've already sent them a message on like if we need to load things onto the truck or take things off or whatnot. And like I suppose it's kind of the system, but not a very good one. But so when they turn up, they usually know exactly what we need, and usually truck's already packed. But if it's not, they know what we need, they know what to get, they throw it on, and then and then I'll get there, and then we'll all shoot out, or I'll get there, I'll be there first, and I'll load it on. But they're usually there before me, so.
Look, I think these things are systems whether they're intended to be or not, right? So the worst systems are the things that you let happen rather than that you plan for. The ones that you plan for are the ones that are going to get more efficient. So I've done the same thing with my business. I sit there and go, okay, should I implement X, Y, Z, make it more efficient, or do I just keep on letting things happen? And like you say, like your staff know which tools they need for which jobs, so they'll get there and start loading the tools. But if you have that written on the board, or in the CRM, you need to bring this hedge trimmer, and you need to bring the hoe, and you need to bring the Vermeer for this job, then when your new staff member turns up in the end of the month, he'll be able to go, oh, I can look at that. There, tick, 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 done, loaded.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the only thing that, well, not the only, but one of the things that we haven't really done. Like, we don't really have a regimented system. It's more, I don't know, you kind of work here for 2-3 months and we will show you everything, and then you kind of know. But yeah, and then sometimes thing gets missed, but no one intentionally means to miss or forget to put something on. So
it has become a system that you use.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, not a very good one, but it is one.
Well, and essentially, yes, staff are getting trained in the first few months. This is what we do. This is what we need. This is what we're preparing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So what I see when people get to your size business or my size business, a lot of these things are implemented by repetition and observation. And the people I talk to that are struggling, so you, me, and a few other people I could name, right? I'm not saying you're struggling, but you, me, those guys that are going, oh, yeah, I've got 1, 2, maybe 3 employees. I'm struggling with this. The thing I suggest is start with some HR principles. Documentation is really important. So a work health and safety policy is one of the first things you need to have documented.
Yep.
And then, typically if you're doing any commercial work, you already have a SWIMS document in place, but you might need to further develop those, have specific SWIMS documents for each equipment or for job sites or whatever. But then an employee handbook and an employee contract are another one which makes a lot of sense. And the employee handbook is where I was heading with these sorts of things you're talking about, is then not just an employee handbook that says you need to turn up in uniform, don't swear at the customers, don't smoke in the customers' properties, whatever it might say. But it might also say, well, here's our start of day and end of day checklists.
Yeah, which we don't have, but yeah, we've got like an employee contract thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty in depth, but we don't have a handbook or whatnot. So probably something definitely to get, especially as we get bigger. Like these are all things you kind of need to have, but you kind of forget that you need to have them.
It's one of those things which you realise at some point and you go, you know what, that will actually, and I think that's what you're doing right now, you're realising, going, oh, I think that would be a good idea to have that. But you've been able to function quite well without it. So what I find is people will fall over in one of 2 areas if they don't have these things in place. And I'm in that position myself, so I'm not judging you. If you want to scale your business, you're going to find that you need these things in place to work well in 2 fronts. You need them in place in order to keep your staff happy, because if your staff have systems that are clear, then they feel like they're doing their job properly. And the other one is taking on new work. So if you're going on to take on a new job, you can then implement the checklists for those jobs, the quoting systems for those jobs, all the different things that are going to make you prepared to scale your business, keeping staff happy, keeping new customers happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and like I said, I'm also like you. I'm going, I need to implement some of these systems. And whenever anybody asks me and says, oh, I can't seem to keep my staff, or I'm struggling to grow the business and put more staff on and get more customers, it's like, all right, get those systems locked in.
Yeah, I think a lot of us will kind of go, oh, it's something we need to do, but I'm busy now. Let's focus on what I'm doing now, and they just push it to the side. And I think, like obviously, I've done that. Like it's something I've got to change, and I think it's where
Me too.
You go, well, it's actually a pretty important thing to have. We just don't have it because we just go, well, working is important now. I need to make money now, and so these things kind of protect you in the long run as well. So you've just got to kind of make the time to do it and get it done.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's easy to make excuses, and I'm speaking about myself there.
No, I think,
much as anything.
I think we all do it, especially, like running small businesses. Like they all have their challenges, right? Like it's certainly not a walk in the park, but it doesn't need to be hard. But I think a lot of us make it hard because we kind of pride ourselves on how hard we work, and we just work hard and work hard and work hard and work hard, and then we got to do something else, and it's like, oh, it's all too hard. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing because it's working for now.
If you chat to somebody who's got 10 employees in place already, these are systems which they are already working well.
Yeah.
Right. And if they were to go, oh, I've got 2 or 3 employees and I need to get the business up to 10 employees, they already have done that, and they're like, well, it's just a walk in the park. It's really easy once you implement these things because it's just putting one foot in front of the other. But for you, me, and other people who are like, oh, I'm sort of happy with 1 or 2, maybe 3 employees, then probably not necessary to put those systems in place and just, you teach your employees over the first few months while they're in there, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and it works. but scaling the business is going to have you stuck. And I think also looking at that guy that's got 10 employees, that girl that's got 10 employees, the things they're struggling with is the next lot of systems. So how do we implement middle management? How do we implement somebody else to do the scheduling, somebody else to do the admin, somebody else to do the equipment maintenance? Oh, we need to have an operations manager. And that brings me full circle back to profit first, because if you have allowed for profit margin in your job, and profit in your job should be, like I was talking about, like if you go a wheel, you want to have a third of that is profit. If you say it's like add a percentage on for every job to make sure there's profit there, what happens is that's a diminishing return. But if you go, no, it's not a percentage of the job, it's a fraction of the wheel, so I want a third of it to be profit. Once you get to that size where you're like, I need to put somebody on to do something that's not making money, you've got margin there to play with. But if you're like, all right, I'm running around 10% profit, or I'm adding 5% on a job, 10% on a job after expenses, no, you're going to get to that stage and go, I can't grow the business.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
Can't
we've
afford it.
all, yeah, well, I know I've definitely been there, and then like got quite, because we've had 3 or 4 employees for a few years now, and it's like if we were really to scale it and put everything in place, if I was a businessman, like that would have already been done. But like
Yeah.
I just find it difficult, but just something got to kind of bite the bullet and do if that's where we choose to go to, I suppose.
Well, I guess, Sam, this is why I like interviewing people like you and me, and the multitude of people I've spoken to. And it's like 260, 270 people I've interviewed now. Everybody has different goals in business, and where you're at is not wrong. It's where you're at.
Yeah, so well, everyone does things differently, and that's what's good about it. Like, if everyone did it all the same, like, it just wouldn't be. I don't really know the words for it, but it's good that everyone's different. Like, because you can
Yeah.
learn a lot from someone that you might completely disagree with the way they're doing things, but there's one
Yep.
thing they do, and you're like, that's awesome. Like, let's implement that one thing from this other company that I disagree with everything they do, but they do one thing really well, and you just do what works for you, I suppose.
So with that in mind, where do you see yourself heading in the next 5 years? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to go, no, we're saying goodbye to one staff member, bringing on another one, and I'm really happy with, I work with 2 or 3 other people and I know them, like treat them like friends. They work with me. They enjoy being around me.
I think eventually, like in about 5 years, if I can implement all this and get it right, I don't want to get too big, but I think if we could sit around, maybe have 7 or 8 people and maybe be able to run a couple of trucks, maybe 4 trucks, something like that, that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
If we could do that, and because 8 people, 7 or 8 people, it's still pretty small, but
Yeah.
there's still room to, be quite profitable and
Yep.
get a lot done and still kind of keep everyone happy. Like you can still give enough time to each person to, help them grow. Because everyone that works with us, I want them to enjoy horticulture and enjoy gardens and
Yeah.
enjoy what we're doing and be good at it. Like I just don't really want someone that's just gonna, turn up, cut the lawn and mope around. Like, oh,
Yep.
yeah. So we've had a few of them. They don't last very long. And the
Yeah.
people that seem to enjoy it and show a good interest in it, we take the time, we show them everything, and if they, they want to go through TAFE, we'll put them through TAFE. If they don't
Yep.
want to go through TAFE, we've done like some different training and
Yeah.
things like that. And like Taylor my spray license was expiring, but she wanted to get one. So me and her went and did our chem cert and
Nice.
things like that.
Yep.
So it's just like, I just want people that want to be here
Yeah.
and enjoy what we do. So
Yeah,
That
good
like I
stuff.
don't really want to get too big because I think when you get too big, like you just a lot of it is just people managing really, and you're not in it
Yeah,
anymore for the you're a business owner, not working in the gardens as such. If I could get to a place where it could run itself and I could still work in the gardens, that'd be awesome. But I don't quite think I have the brains for that.
so what you're saying, if you grow to about 7 or 8 employees, you think you could manage that, still holding all the strings, being the main puppeteer? And
Well, you would need three or four very, very, very good employees to like
yeah,
team leaders and stuff that would be
yes,
able to run things themselves. Like there is
yep.
no chance you could be micromanaging everyone.
No,
Um,
you want somebody like Taylor to be out there leading another person or two other people.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like it's a bit of a shame that she's going, but she's moving out west and she's going to go
yeah,
start out there and she can do a great job. Like if she would be the perfect person for to
yeah,
take on a truck and to take on an apprentice and be able to teach an apprentice now.
yeah,
Because she's got all the skills, she's very good at her job.
yep,
Um, but you know, these things happen, and she'll do well in wherever she goes and whatever she does.
yep.
So
I'm sure she will. And try and when I've spoken to her, I've tried to tell her the same thing. Like, hold your head up high, be proud of what you've done because you've achieved a lot, and you can certainly go out there and run a successful business fairly easily.
yeah, I think it's TJ's horticulture. We'll give her a shout out. She's gonna love
Uh,
that.
look forward to seeing that one come to life in the next month or so.
Yeah, no, it should be good. So
Yeah.
she'll do well.
I want to say a massive thank you to those who have supported me with the new Catch Pro discount code. In appreciation, I'm offering a prize for one lucky Catch Pro customer before the end of the year. If you live in Australia and purchase from Catch Pro with the discount code LawnStars10, in all caps, for those who have already done so and up until the 15th of December, this is a real and significant prize, unlike some booby traps I've heard of recently. It is a Catch Pro product worth over $500, so get cracking with your LawnStars10 code on the Catch Pro online shop, and thank you for your support.
One of the things that I like to cover is giving people some statistical numbers that actually help them make sense. So you would have heard me, because I know you've listened to my podcast.
Yeah, I listened
You
to
would
a
have
lot
heard me
of them.
talk
Yeah.
about breaking down some easy numbers, and your opportunity here is to throw your numbers in and tell me what you think is reasonable. And by comparison, we acknowledge there's a huge variation. There's a lot of variables for your business, let alone our industry. But what I tell people is if you, regardless of whether you're coming in without training or whether you're doing horticulture, whatever it is, you want to have some numbers that are fairly easy for you to be able to review so that you can get your head around whether you're heading in the right direction at any point in time. So somebody running solo, I tell them you should be able to do $120,000 a year really easily and probably double that, possibly double that.
Yeah.
So 240,000 a year is not unreasonable. And when we break those numbers down into something that makes sense, you'll see why. So 120 grand a year is $10,000 a month. If you double it, it's $20,000 a month. And $10,000 a month is $2,500 a week. Double it, $5,000 a week, right? So are we making sense? If you look at daily amounts, $500 a day, $1,000 a day, they're both ballpark numbers that you can just use to go, okay, am I hitting my numbers well? If you can do $500 a day, 5 days a week, every week of the year, you will hit $120,000 a year. And yeah, we know there's going to be some big weeks and some small weeks, but those are numbers that help you to work out if you're aiming in the right direction. So I tell people $120,000 a year is really achievable, and 150 to 200 is also very achievable for somebody that's working on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based off that, like $500 a day, you can sit there and go, okay, that's, $50 to $80 an hour. $1,000 a day might be more like $100 to $120 an hour, maybe more. And depending on how many hours you spend traveling, like when you travel to Sydney, you're losing 3-4 hours out of the day for travel, so that's going to affect that. And if you're in one site on the Central Coast for the whole day doing a wedding venue on the Central Coast, there's not a lot of travel time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Sam, you jump in here. Tell me what numbers you've looked at. So am I hitting the right numbers? Have you got numbers that are
I've got a
better?
couple here.
Yeah.
Well, no, like, so we will roughly, like, if you're going just off like wages alone, with like three of us, we vary between like 1950 to 22 a day type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got everything else on top of that. So you got like all your sprays, your fertilizers, plants, mulch, soil, all that type of
So,
stuff. Like anything that needs to go on top goes on top.
so your cost of turning up for the day is somewhere around 2,000, a little bit higher, a little bit less. And then if you've got any
Yeah.
product you're adding into that day, that's extra.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So
That's fair.
we don't do any quoted jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we do, but we don't really. Like we've got one or two. Just everything's hourly for us. But that's kind of just based off your 8 hour day.
Yep.
And that would be including your GST.
I like that. I think it's a really divisive topic whether you quote hourly or quoted totals. And I think people who are divisive on that miss the point, because ultimately it's about meeting the customer's expectations and the customer's meeting your expectations. So if you're really rigid in your thinking, you're going to lose some customers. If you're really flexible in this, you might lose some customers because you're too flexible, but you need to be able to go, okay, well, what does the customer need to know? What helps them to understand that we're providing good value? And I think that's the quoted versus the hourly is depends on the customer, depends on you. There's variables there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it's not a dig or whatever, but I see some of these things on like LMCA and stuff, and I see like a hedge. And like we do some really big hedges, and I'll see a hedge, and like I'll see a lot of people that go, oh, "How much should I quote for this?" And you look at the comments, a lot of them are like, "Oh, it's got to be $900 at least," or something like that. And I'll look at it and I go, "That's well for us or for myself, it might be 2 or 3 hours worth of work." Which I understand where people go, "Well, it's $900. It's $900." You've worked so hard, you deserve to make $200 or $300 an hour. But then at the same time, I put myself in the customer's shoe and I go, did I just pay that guy $300 an hour to prune a hedge?
Yeah.
And I go, ooh. So like that's where I kind of get myself unstuck a little bit there. Like if I was a little bit more ruthless with it, I could. But as you said, like then all of our work's recurring, so we're not losing customers, and a lot of our work's kind of all day work. So there's no travel. Well, obviously we drive to the job, but there's no traveling around in between jobs and things like that. We're not really burning through much that way. So I think it kind of works it all out. Like there are definitely guys out there who do make $150, $200 an hour, and good on them. I think it's awesome. But then I see
with hedges, I think, like, if you're just doing a basic garden or lawn, then $80 to $100 an hour is ballpark for some people, right? And they're not bad numbers; they're not terrible. I'm hoping most of our industry is over $100 an hour for basic services now, or at least close to $100 an hour. Yeah. But when it comes to something that is a detailed job, so I'm putting hedge trimming in there, the detail is really important. You don't cut a hedge and then go, oh, whoops, I cut a big hole in it there. That looks terrible. You cut a hedge like it's a piece of art. You want to look at it and then cut some off and then look at it again and go, is that where I want it to be? And you keep on going until the hedge looks spot on, right?
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
Numbers for that range from $80 an hour to $500 an hour.
Yeah.
And if it's really spectacular and it's got to be spot on, and there's plenty of people that do that, $350, $450, $500 an hour to make sure that the customer is getting exactly what they're after.
If you have the clientele who are looking for that, it is perfect. Like we have a couple that are like that, and it's great. But then, no, not shit getting on anyone. Like everyone does their own prices, they all do their own things, and I think it's great. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just get on myself sometimes where I'm like, oh, maybe that's a bit much. Like when I first look at something, I'm like, oh, maybe, but everyone's different. They all go earn their own money and do their own things.
And I think that part of this is a self-limiting belief. It's like I don't believe somebody should have to pay more than $120 an hour for the type of work we're doing. And because I believe that, I'm then going to look guilty or self-conscious when I say it's worth $200 an hour, right? But part of it is also a case of going, well, what's this customer asking me to do? And am I giving them a price that says, hey, I don't really want to do the job? Or am I giving them a price that's saying, hey, I'm willing to do whatever you want at a price that makes me happy?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where hedge trimming comes into that. There are other jobs, but hedge trimming particularly, because say you're doing topiary where you're doing some clouds or you're doing a hedge that is getting in the public eye and you want to make sure it looks sharp. So absolutely, you can look down that line of the hedge and you can go, that is spot on. It doesn't deviate one little bit. And you can look down the next line and go on the other side of the hedge. Yep, spot on. Everything about it. The customer wants it to be like that, and you're willing to put the effort in to make it that sharp. It's worth more than the one next door where he's like, I just want you to be here for half an hour. Just cut it and run.
Yeah, just slap it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're on a bit of a rabbit hole there, sorry.
That's great. I love it. I'll go down that rabbit hole any day.
But yeah, so yeah, we're roughly around that 19 to 2200 for like a standard 8-hour day, somewhere around there. And then
Awesome.
I kind of base that off. I never go, you can't times that by 5, then times that by 52 because it doesn't work. Like,
Fair.
So your employees, you got to base it. Well, for me anyway, I base it off about 44 weeks.
Yeah.
Because not every employee, but nearly all employees, they're going to use their 4 weeks of holiday a year, or if they don't, they bank it up, they use it the next year. There is, I think there's close to 2 weeks of public holidays.
Yep.
So there's days not working, and people get sick. Like you can't do much about it. So there's, another week of paid leave, or sometimes they're sick for longer and it's either in their holidays or unpaid or whatever. So I kind of base it off like 44, 42 weeks type of thing. But so the aim is to, like, with sales and stuff as well, like we're hopefully aiming for us this year, if we can get somewhere between, be a bit of a stretch, but if I could get somewhere between like the 550K for the year or something like that, aiming for that. We certainly didn't do that last year because we didn't always have 3 people. I hurt myself. Taylor got crook for a while as well. So we were well below that. But hopefully this year we can get up around there and just hopefully just keep trucking along and keep working hard, and each year hopefully just get that a little bit better and put some more people on. And
look, I think that's fantastic to look at that by comparison to what I was saying for somebody who's working solo, right? So somebody solo
absolutely
could potentially do $250,000 to $300,000 a year. The average solo person is going to do more like 120 to 150, maybe up to 180. So keeping that in mind, if you put on an employee, if you're doing 150 on your own and then you put on an employee and you expect them to do 150, like you say, you got up to 10 weeks out of the year that they're not going to work. And
it's crazy when you think about it. It's almost like you're like, 3 months. But I'd never look at it that way before until I started working, and you're like, that's actually a long time.
So if you pay them casual loading, and you
Yeah.
keep a couple of casual employees in the bank just for when Taylor has a sick day.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Taylor, we're
yeah.
picking on you. But, if you have a casual pool of employees, then you can get 52 weeks out of the year. But
Oh, absolutely.
nobody's as motivated as you are being the business owner. And so you can't expect you to go and why I'm saying your top line number there by comparison, you can't go, well, if I've got 3 employees, I'm going to do 3 times $300,000 a year. No, doesn't work.
Nah.
You go, if I've got 3 employees, including myself, or 3 plus myself, the other 3 are going to be half as productive as me in terms of the total top line revenue they bring in.
Yeah, I personally think if you can get an employee to give you 70% of what you're willing to do,
That's a miracle.
that's like benchmark, like awesome.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
realistically, that 50, 60% type of thing, that's where you're gonna, well, from my experience, where you'll find most employees. And that's fine too, because like employees, like that's sounds bad, but it's what they're there to do. Like they're not
Yeah.
there to work as hard as you. They don't want to work as hard as you, and that's fine. Because if
I
they
don't think
did,
that's
they'd be
bad.
doing
I
it
think
for
that's something
themselves.
we as business owners need to recognise more. And I think there's a bunch of variables in there. Like I interviewed Mike Andes a few weeks ago and talking about motivating employees. Like make sure those systems are in place so the expectations are fairly clear. Here's your checklist, whatever else you might want to be building at the moment to make it so that when you've got 8 employees, it's easier for you to have that in place and easier for your employees to feel like they're valued because those things are all done. That's one thing. And then Mike Andes specialises in saying, let's do pay for performance. So if the employees are working at the level you're working at, they get a bonus.
Yeah,
Even if they're working at more than 60%. So say their benchmark is 60 to 70%. You go, all right, if you guys hit 80%, you're getting a decent Christmas bonus or a monthly bonus to say, hey, this month you achieved a high target. Here's your bonus.
yeah, 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 and that definitely helps when they do that,
Yeah.
and you pay them accordingly. Like we don't necessarily do bonuses. Well, each year they get one at Christmas time, but that's
Yep.
more of just a thanks. Like thanks for turning up every day. Thanks for doing your job. Thanks for being a good person. Thanks for helping me achieve my goals, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yep.
not really performance based though. But that would be something to look into. But once again, fair bit of admin, I think, to get that there from where we are
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I've got one employee at the moment that is exceptional at putting out the productivity, and everything else is pretty good as well. But when it comes to productivity, he's like, yep, king. So I'm like, all right. I give him verbal recognition regularly. Hey, Tim, it's great to see you. Good to see you've done this, and I can see that the work's getting done, and it's a positive reinforcement that I see everything and more is getting done. And so now it's time to go, okay, what do I do for a bonus
Yeah,
to reflect
absolutely.
that?
And I think the way you talk to your employees is a really important thing. Like
Yeah.
everyone snaps, like that happens, but
Yeah.
it's like with our guys, like if they've done something and there's something wrong with it, it's not you did this wrong. It's like you've done 95% of this thing perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just this little bit here that we can improve on, and it's a great job, well done, instead of, just shit canning on them for the one little thing. Because
Yeah.
I find when that happens a lot, they just keep, if they're constantly seeing the negatives, it just becomes a bit of a harder place to work.
Yeah. What I've said to employees when things go wrong is let's acknowledge it. And guess what? I've done the same thing. and this is a learning experience. We don't really want to repeat it. So what do we learn? How do we learn from this so that we don't keep on repeating that mistake, because that's a costly mistake. And we're moving in a positive direction. So these things happen.
Yeah, it's like one of the guys smashed the window on the truck the other day, and they rang me, and you could just tell by their voice they felt so bad, and you're just like, you know what, dude? Like, it happens. I've broken windows. You didn't mean to break it. Like, don't worry about it. Let's get it fixed, and we'll move on. Like, just know next time when you're in that area, if the truck's parked here, maybe move it or face it a different way. Like, doesn't matter. Like, no one intentionally means to mess anything up. Sometimes it feels like they do, but they definitely don't.
I've had employees on numerous occasions say, "Hey, I broke something, I'll pay for it." And I'm like, "You're an employee, you're not paying for it. You get to go home and sleep soundly and not worry about it. That's what you get as an employee. So please don't take that on board. That's my boss. No, I'm the boss. I'm the one who has to take that on." I get paid the big dollars to sweat over those things, not you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the fact that they even offer is, you're just like, oh, great person. You know, that's good. Thank you, but no thank you. Like, we'll get it sorted.
Yep.
No, that's awesome.
Smart. Well, Sam, I have learnt quite a few things talking to you, and I think a lot of people will listen to this and they'll learn a few things about the different ways we can run businesses and the things that are important to focus on if you want to get from starting point to somewhere like you or I are doing, or further, or maybe not as far.
Hopefully it wasn't all just dribble, and go from there.
No, you've been in business for a while. You've learnt some great things, and you're able to pass that on in this interview. So it's awesome. Thank you.
No worries at all.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.